joined by Greg Miles, CEO of Caspin Resources. Greg, thanks for your time.
Hello, David.
Timing impeccable. Come to a conference with news. Talk us through the news and why was it so important?
Well, yes, it had been a while for an update for our investors. We've been really busy on the drilling front since the start of March. So yeah, it is fortuitous that we've been able to put some news out that coincide with the resources conference. And it's good news. You know, we were able to demonstrate that we're seeing some significant sulphide zones that we think are extensions to our discovery hole at XC22. So, you know, it's a large target. We're drilling over broad spacings over at least 1 kilometre of strike, several hundred metres down dip. So we've only just sort of given people visuals of those first few holes, but what we've seen so far is really encouraging. And you know, all we need to do now is wait for the assays to come back.
So one of the things that did excite you and the company was rhodium. For those who don't know about rhodium, explain why that's so important.
Yeah, well, rhodium's not something we're familiar with in Australia, but it is. It's a very well. So the background on rhodium, it's one of the other PG metals, but it's not really rare, or it's rarely assayed in Australia because it doesn't often occur with the style of mineralisation we see here. But it's extremely valuable. It's about 10 times the value of gold. So you don't need very much to make a difference in your project economics. But it's much more common in South Africa with the Platte Reef sort of style, Canada and in Russia. So look, we're still learning ourselves. All we did was took 24 samples from our first hole at Yark 22 just to have a look to see if there was anything else other than platinum and palladium. And sure enough there was. And I think our peak result was 465 ppb. So generally speaking, you only need about 100 ppb to be significant. And it's important to note that it doesn't require any other sort of processing or anything like that. It's something that would be recovered along with platinum and palladium. So it's a bit of cream on the cake.
Does the news that Chalice has put out about the development of this project shine a bit more of a light on what you're doing?
Oh, look, there's no doubt that the whole West Yilgarn area is under the spotlight. You know, Chalice, that's a world-class discovery. It's one of the most significant nickel-copper discoveries in the world for many, many years. And I think it's captured people's imagination because it's on the doorstep of Perth. But that area has never really been explored for this style of mineralisation. I mean, we've had a little bit of exploration for these type of deposits on our project area, but it was back in the 70s and 80s. So it's really underexplored. And quite rightly, it's captured people's imagination. And I think what that demonstrates for us is people can see where our project could go and the value opportunity that Caspin presents. So, and if we could have half of what Chalice have got, I think we'd be doing really well.
Where to now?
Well, we're still drilling. We've been focusing mostly on XC22. We've drilled a number of holes there that we explained in the announcement yesterday. We're also drilling at a Brassica prospect. So this is about 4 kilometres away from Yarrabrook Hill, where most of our exploration has been focused. I think that's an important thing to recognise, that Yarrawinda Brook is not a single focused project. You know, there's a number of prospects there that we're trying to bring up into drill testing. Brassica is the first cab off the rank. We're drilling an interesting sort of magnetic feature and a new conductor as well that we discovered in our airborne EM survey from last year, XC46. So drilling there, we'd hope to have some news out about that in the near future as well. You know, and that's just an example of how we're working the entire project area, 400 square kilometres of project area that's barely been touched.
A big project area, as you say, barely been touched, but with a real focus on exploring it out as much as possible over the next 6 to 12 months. Exciting times ahead for Caspin and its shareholders. Greg, thanks for your time.
Thank you, David.